the child by the parents when they are together.
But finding quality daycare is tough. In Bakersfield, there are only spaces for 6,500 children in licensed facilities. There are over 17,000 youngsters under 5 in need of daycare.
When the government and private enterprise start supporting women in the workforce by allowing paid maternity leave, by securing their jobs while they're away, by allowing them time off when their children are very young, saving their jobs, by paying for maternity care, then we'll start.
Big job. Take care of kids and home, work, everything all at once. Hard.
In Bakersfield, Julianne Smith, News 29.
We're switching over to sports, and Charlie's right
He's
here.
going to tell us all we wanted to know about tax reform, but we're afraid we might find out. Huh?
Yes.
I'm afraid you're right. You know, it seems like we've been talking about tax reform now forever.
Yeah.
And it never seems to go away.
And it still hasn't been voted in.
I know.
But it seems to be closer, doesn't it?
I think it's almost a sure thing by now. There's
But
very little chance that
it does seem to me that there are a lot of former supporters of tax reform who are changing their minds as they're finding out some of the details of it.
Well, mostly the details have probably sort of affected some of the major industries in their states, and they didn't get quite all of the deductions they wanted for the major industries in their states. And it's amazing how all of a sudden they had this sort of general interest of the whole country, but when a specific industry in their state didn't get the write-offs they wanted, they quickly changed their tune.
And that could apply to individuals, too. If there's one part of the tax reform legislation that affects them, they're bound to say, hey, I don't really like this.
And, of course,
and I might be one of them, because the 65, you know, the exemption for being 65 or over used to be 2,000 some...
Right.
2,200? Yeah.
Yeah, you lost that.
600 now, huh?
Right. And you're going to lose that one in 1989.
You think so, huh?
Oh, wow.
Yeah. You know, by now, all of you know that we're facing the most complete tax change in 50 years. Tonight, I want to give you some ideas on things you can do to reduce your tax bite. Let's begin with deductions that will be eliminated after this year. Now, if you need a financial planner to overhaul your financial situation, you better do it before January the 1st. Do you need to see a lawyer on your estate tax liability? Do it before year's end. Are you planning to buy a boat, a car, or other big-ticket item? Remember, after this year, sales taxes won't be deductible. Now, are you planning to take a trip to study the jungles of Peru or the fauna of New Guinea? Educational junkets offered by nonprofit organizations can be written off as charitable contributions, but you'd better book passage today. Now, do you want to make a little contribution to your favorite politician and write it off? You better do it quickly. Now, this is income you have no control over, but I mention it because I don't like the change. Currently, winnings for your achievements in science, literature, and the arts are not taxable. So if you have intentions of winning the Nobel Prize, you'd better do it this year. Also, any scholarship or fellowship income you don't spend on tuition or materials will now be taxed. Are you looking for work? You better do it and do it quickly, because here's why. The new law will eliminate the deductions on job hunting expenses and impose taxes on your unemployment benefits. Now, here's some other ideas. If you're refinancing your home, get a 15-year mortgage. You pay back the principal twice as fast, and that gives you a lot more equity to borrow against when you need it. If you need deductions, consider a home equity loan. You want even more? Why not have a few more kids? The $2,000 personal exemption could be a boon to big families. Also, in order to claim dependents, you must list their Social Security number on your tax return. No more deductions for Fido Jones or Heathcliff Smith. As soon as we get our brochure on the tax bill, we'll let you know. But if you have specific questions on anything that we've talked about, please don't hesitate to call me or drop me a line. You have a prosperous week, and I'll see you this weekend.
One bad thing, it seems as though education is going to suffer from this, doesn't it?
Education, the write-offs for education got hit pretty hard. An interesting question that came up today, and I really haven't found out the answer today, was a gentleman says, you know, I'm required to keep certain courses to keep my license up. Well, many of the big universities often have trips to Hawaii where you take the courses and he says, can I write it off? I'm not sure, but that's the kind of thing that, you know, you begin to wonder that that's the kind of thing that gets hit rather quickly, but I really don't know the answer, but I'm going to find it out.
Either way, it's obvious how complicated it is.
It gets very complicated. You yet to see the end of the complications.
There is nothing like tax simplification.
Nothing like tax simplification. You know, as a quick point, though,
like
the place where I've been getting most of this information, where I get most of the information for this, and I will once again say it and you can listen to me, is USA Today.
Yeah.
For a simple answer for most of these things, for all week, they've been giving a lot of good answers to a lot of tough questions.
Oh, that's good.
Okay?
All right, thank you,
Interesting,
Ron.
though, what you mentioned about the kids and having more kids and
Yes,
benefiting in
this
terms
will
of
be a
cost.
boon for the big family, but remember, the Reagan administration has always been big on families, and that's probably why they put it in there.
I think I'll pass on that.
You think you'll pass on that? See you next week.
Okay, Ron.
Okay.
Well, that's sort of an interesting point Ron brought up because, you know, there are all sorts of things that can cause financial strain, and it's no secret that raising children is among them. But it might surprise you to know just how much having kids can cost.
Jamie Green plays the flute, a flute she shares with her brother and her sister, a flute that alone costs $350.